You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Engage.
78 years have passed since the days of the original USS Enterprise. Now a new Galaxy Star ship has been designed.
Transporter Chief, beam our listeners aboard. Welcome to Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast on BQN. I'm your host, Counselor Amy Nelson, and with me today is Joseph the Carpenter, not the father of Jesus, Joe Keegan.
Hello, Amy. How are you?
Well, I am doing great. This is my first weekend of no school done. I get my summer break, 2 months of no work, no students, no lesson plans, no principals, no parents. It's lovely.
I've never wished harder for a giant chasm to open up in Las Vegas and swallow you into it, having finished up for the summer holidays.
Oh, yeah.
We've got 20 days left.
20 more days. Okay.
Yeah. 2 work days and 18 of me just turning up at the building. Maybe watching Marvel movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Well, and this one was unique, a special closing because that was my last day at that school because I'm going to another building. So all a new adventure next year. And so saying goodbye to all the teacher friends that I've worked for 11 years at that school.
You look a wee bit sad about that.
It was tough.
Yeah.
Because, I was department chair over the math department. And so I really worked close with them. So
Did they give you a nice send off?
They did. I've been having lots of happy hour and send-offs.
Not during the school day.
No, not during the school day. Yeah, well, see, our school day ends at 1:51 and I'm doing happy hours at 2. So not during the school day.
Your school day finishes at 1:51?
Yes.
Every day?
Every day.
1:51?
Yeah.
I have to say it again for good measure, 1:51. Not 1:50 or 1:55. No. Or like maybe round it up to 2 p.m.
Nope. It's
Wow,
1:51. That's
random time. Like,
it
do
is.
you
That's
start
our
at
contract time.
Do you start at 5:43 or something?
We start at 6:45 to 1:51.
Where's my portable
contract hours.
defibrillator? I have died. What?
I know, isn't that weird?
You guys
Hours?
don't have teaching unions, do you?
That is because of the teaching union. Not 2 p.m. They saved us 9 minutes of our personal time. So I appreciate the unions.
How generous. Wow. That's nuts.
Yeah. Well, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Bad news.
Bad news.
Super bad news.
Yeah,
Well, found
let's do
out
bad
yesterday.
news first. Yeah.
Yeah, so yesterday we all found out that Showmasters, who run the Destination Star Trek franchise, have cancelled London I think it was due to be in November this year. They've cancelled it. Instead, they're going to have the Destination Star Trek in Germany, which is in Dortmund, which was already planned. They planned to do Germany in September, London in November, but they cancelled London in favour of September in Dortmund. Dortmund has no direct flights from anywhere but London. Dortmund, or the convention, falls on our September weekend, so it's slightly better for me. I don't have to take time off work. But we also found out that CBS have decided to only allow one Star Trek convention a year in Europe. And I'm enraged. That with no Discovery Season 4. We didn't get Lower Decks, is that right? And no Prodigy, no Strange New Worlds. I'm
I
apoplectic
don't
with
understand. Can I ask, have you been to the Germany convention before?
Never, no.
Is that convention better or more well attended compared to the London one?
I've literally no idea. Don't know.
I'm just wondering why they chose that one instead of the London one. It's like, I always hear about the London, in part because I know you guys. But
Yeah. Well, they cancelled the German one last year. So maybe it's year on, year off kind of thing. So Germany last year, London this year, Germany next year. Literally no clue. Let's have some happy news.
Let's have some happy news. Well, I was just invited. There was a cancellation. Well, I guess this is actually a double-edged sword with this news, because Rhea was signed up to go on the cruise, but then canceled. And I'm going to take her spot. So sad that Rhea's not going on the cruise, but happy that I'm going on the cruise. So I'm very excited.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a double-edged sword, but like unlike those swords which only have one edge.
Yes.
Interesting. Like all swords have two edges, don't they?
No.
Yeah. Knives, like kitchen knives, only have one edge.
Yeah. Oh, but swords?
Would have to, wouldn't they?
Do they? I don't know.
Well, so you can like lop arms off with either edge.
Well,
when doing
as taking a hint from Infinite Diversity, what is the etymology of that idiom?
I am curious. What is the etymology of that idiom? How did it come to be used in contemporary language?
Why is it double-edged sword? If they
because it will
all
cut you
are.
either way.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know. Weird.
Maybe one of our guests knows today.
Oh, we do have guests.
We have guests. Apparently they've been waiting here for ages and we've been ignoring them.
Logs accessed.
Well, we don't have any feedback,
no.
Shall we move on?
It's 2 weeks in a row. Listeners haven't given us any feedback.
Oh dear. Do we even have listeners?
Do you know what? I might as well not. Just stop recording. 2 weeks in a row. It's not like you have to switch on your computer and wait 20 minutes, then get the dial-up going to leave a comment. You can do it while you're outside in the beautiful weather on your mobile cellular device. Mm-hmm. So, no excuses.
There's technology nowadays.
There is.
Yeah.
This is the captain. Senior officers will report to my ready room immediately.
I have had this idea to interview a couple of people who we both know and love because they are very, in my opinion, like experts at cosplay. And I wanted to do an interview and an episode about cosplay. It's been about a year in the making. So I would like to introduce you, listeners, to Kelvin Wood and James Draper. Kelvin, James, welcome to Galaxy Class.
Thank you. Hi, Amy. Hi, Joe.
Hello, listeners.
Hi, guys.
So I was trying to think, when did you guys first meet Joe? Because I don't remember meeting you guys without Joe.
Was it? It was Destination Star Trek in Birmingham, 2016.
2016 must have been.
Yeah.
Oh, the 50th.
Yes,
It was. And it was actually in our pre-cosplay days. We went along just on the off chance, just thinking this looks like an interesting thing to go and have a look at and see what a Star Trek convention is like. And we went along wearing possibly a badge.
A t-shirt. It was just a normal off-the-rack TOS t-shirt and black jeans. Very underwhelming. And then looking around the rooms thinking, we're very underdressed.
So it was a t-shirt, but the t-shirt of the uniform.
Yeah. So
still cosplay.
Really?
You did that your first convention.
Entry level cosplay.
Yeah.
A gateway cosplay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Anything less would have been, why would you bother turning up?
Yeah.
You know?
Whatever. Okay, so then when did you guys meet me?
So we met you at STLV 2019.
That's right.
Is that right, in Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas, yes. We were persuaded by Joe to go over to Vegas because it was the pinnacle of the conventions. And then Joe was very kind enough to introduce us to all of you guys in America who Joe and you had met previously. And obviously you were top of the list, Amy, and before we knew it, we were dancing around Piranha nightclub.
You were.
I'm not happy with you implying that I said Amy was at the top of my friends list out of all my Las Vegas friends.
Is that a disclaimer in case this causes offence to anyone?
Possibly.
Okay, so James, how did you get first into Star Trek? How old were you? What?
Oh, goodness me. Well, probably from as young back as I can remember, it was the original series that was just on in the house. And I think over here it was on early Sundays, Sunday mornings, early afternoons. And I remember watching it and being drawn in, I think mainly by Spock in the first instance, drawn into that character. And really liking it, but not kind of becoming not becoming obsessively a fan at that point, just watching it and enjoying it. And I sort of avoided the other series. I very much focused on the original series to begin with. And then as I got older, probably when I was 16, 17, happened on the rest of the series in a similar way by accident, watch an episode. And one by one, every different series that I watched was hooked. So Next Generation, and then I thought that's enough, original series and Next Generation. Then saw an episode of Deep Space Nine, which is my absolute favorite, and just thought this is spectacular. There we go, there's another one to add in. Then Voyager, then the rest of them, and just became drawn in like that. And then kind of didn't watch it on television for a long time, went off to university and sort of forgot about it really while I was out and about living a life. And then discovered the novels, the books that came after the television series, and that got me back into it again. So, and then was back there writing, hooked by the novels.
I started reading the novels around 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Kelvin, what about you? What's your Star Trek story?
Slightly different, actually. I wasn't introduced to Star Trek until TNG. And I remember as early as 1987 when it really first started. I remember talking to a friend at what we call junior school. So it's like the school you have before high school. And from season 1, TNG, just finding this new show, knowing it was Star Trek, but not really knowing what Star Trek was, apart from that really annoying pop song that was out in the 80s. And loved it, was hooked straight away. And I do remember when I sort of started loving Star Trek, thinking, well, I'll go back and watch the original series. But I just couldn't enjoy it because I couldn't see past the 60s production values and the wobbly sets, and it kind of made me laugh more than it made me inspired. So I was pretty spoiled. Not that season 1 and season 2 of TNG were that amazing, but I just couldn't see it as a modern thing to get into. So I never was a huge fan of the original series. And then, but from series 1 of TNG, that was it, all the way through TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, all through the Berman years. I've just been absolutely obsessed. So I never took a break. I started in 87 and it's been life since.
Do you think in 60 years' time, when we're judging Strange New Worlds through the same kind of eyes as we judge the original series with their wobbly sets and production values, do you think I know we haven't seen it, we're judging it on the trailers because it's not out here yet in the UK. What do we think? Do you think it'll look as wobbly and weird?
Maybe because the it's so computer rendered, and obviously the technology will be so. It's like watching kind of like the Phantom Menace or something, and seeing all the kind of really bad CGI in that now. It's not aged very well. But bless you, Joe, for thinking we're going to be around in 60 years.
Why not? I'll be 105.
I don't think that we will see that difference in production value, because no matter what, even in 50 years, then that will be 100 years since TOS. And that will be the one that we always judge against.
I think as well that there's something about it being, it's all set in the future, obviously, but it's of its time. That's part of the charm of the original series, is the kind of smoky lensed close-ups on the faces, and the kind of old days of Hollywood lighting, and the melodrama of some of it, the sort of homemade equipment that was never meant to be seen that close up or preserved. And like with the Next Generation, when it gets to the 80s, there's an 80s vibe to that. There's a charm, I think, of it being always looking and imagining it's in the future, but being made at the time it was made and looking like that. And I think, like Kelvin says, but with Strange New Worlds and the others that have got heavy computer generated elements, we'll probably look back on that, when the series that's been made in 60 years time is just being injected straight into our brains as a memory we can think about later on, or something like that, or it's being delivered as a hologram package by androids through our letterboxes and so on. We'll look back on that
idea that it'll just be injected into your brain, because at 104 years old I won't remember any of Star Trek, so it'll need to be like auto inject, and I'm like, oh, I remember this. What's this now? So, James, you kind of alluded maybe to an answer to this next question about your favourite series, captain and character. I'm thinking maybe Deep Space Nine, based on what you've said previously, but do you want to go with that? Favourite series, captain and character?
Yeah, my favourite series is absolutely Deep Space Nine, and I saw it's a very strange experience for me watching that, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing in a really positive way. There's something about Deep Space Nine that it's kind of deliberately separate to what's come before it, deliberately working and imagining against the captain on the bridge on a starship doing exploration. All these characters brought together in adverse circumstances. Even the Starfleet people there are brought together in the context of trauma or naivety. It's not a kind of straightforward journey for anybody into that station, and the interactions, the extra characters, the sort of secondary characters that come along, like Garak, all of the Ferengi people that keep turning up and coming back. There was something about that series when I first watched it that I very strongly identified with, and absolutely loved. I was hooked, and it's the one I always go back to and really like the most. What were the other things you wanted? Favorite captain?
Captain and character, yeah.
Favorite captain. I mean, favorite captain. I mean, it probably would be Sisko, based on the love for Deep Space Nine, because again, I think it's really interesting that you've got someone that is deliberately the opposite of Picard. It's not let's just replicate the same thing and go off and do that. Right from the off, it's someone who's set up in direct conflict with that character, and imagined as going in a different direction from the beginning, doing slightly things in a very different way, being much more kind of aggressive and confrontational in dealing with problems, being much more, I think, as well, leaving the crew to sort things out, I think, as well, letting them work out the conflicts. He's not a captain who's sort of wading in saying, this is what you're going to do and that's the answer to that. We get to know the other characters, I think, much more. And I think that's a necessary management strategy, if you like, for what he's got to do on that station, because it's not just Starfleet people he's the boss of. He has to deal with. There's a whole very problematic civilian population. You've got characters like Kira and Odo who are sort of under his command, but not. And that's again that sort of captures what I really like about Deep Space Nine. That everything's slightly in the shadows, slightly in the grey areas, not really obvious and not really straightforward in terms of what's happening. And favourite character, I mean, my absolute favourite character from the whole of Star Trek is Odo. I think he is probably the one I identify with the most. I really like the way in which he's portrayed as this sort of law-making, disciplinary figure, but then also has got this mysterious, complicated past that we don't quite know about. Like everything else on Deep Space Nine, it's not straightforward. There's one aspect to it or the other, and I think he's just the way in which he has to deal with the aspects of what you might think of as a human life, how he's dealing with things like love and friendship and conflict. I think it's a real learning curve for him and for the viewers as well, watching how someone who isn't quite able to always articulate his feelings in the most straightforward way has to exist in a world where people are screaming and shouting and falling in love and being friends and falling out, and he's in the middle of it all, trying to be a figure of discipline, but also trying to kind of almost learn from them at the same time. So I think he's a brilliantly complicated character and fantastically portrayed. So absolutely Odo is my favourite character.
So Deep Space Nine, Deep Space Nine, and Deep Space Nine was your answer.
Absolutely.
There.
There you go.
No, I love Deep Space Nine as well. If you imagine, my love of the Star Trek series is a bit like a graphic equalizer on an old stereo. And sometimes, like, TNG is my favourite. It's mostly up there at number one. But sometimes, like Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and then I'll randomly see a TOS episode. And so, yeah, it fluctuates. But I love that whole ensemble cast and the fact that they very cleverly do a lot of standalone episodes, but they've got whole season arcs of story, or multiple season arcs. It's genius. I think it's maybe the first time we'd seen that kind of thing in television.
I think, and I'd say one of the things, if you look at it again and do a rewatch of the whole series, it's very odd that it is almost Odo's story. The whole series he's got a very strong arc all the way through from beginning to end, I think, in a way that a lot of other characters don't seem to. They kind of come and go, but it's Odo's story of finding out who his people are, falling in love, working out this conflict at the end of it, and it kind of ends almost after we've said goodbye to Cisco, with Odo being the one waving off and leaving the station and going away.
Yeah, that's interesting. For any Babylon 5 fans that are listeners, you're going to be screaming at us. I know Babylon 5 was on at the same time, and they did the same thing, individual stories with multiple season arcs. So there's an argument to be had for either Deep Space Nine or Babylon 5 doing that first. I love both shows. Kelvin, same question. Remember, you're on a TNG podcast.
Well, fortunately then, and very politically correct, my answer is TNG. TNG is almost like the spine of Star Trek, I think, of like the Berman years. And, you know, it's in the middle. It crossed over DS9 and Voyager. And I have the mantra that all Trek is good Trek. I can't abide all the new Trek haters when they're like whinging constantly. Everything's good in its own way. But TNG is just that kind of higher on a pedestal for me. I adore Deep Space Nine. I adore Voyager. But yeah, I think it's that thing of what's your Trek everyone identifies with, the one that brought them into the series. And for me, as I've just said earlier, it was TNG. So that's the series. I hate the question of who's your favourite captain. I don't have children, but I imagine it's like choosing a favourite child. You know, you're just not supposed to do it. I love Janeway. I love Archer. I love Michael Burnham. Believe it or not, I really love Captain Pike. He's probably getting up there to be my favourite captain, but it probably is, if someone held a phaser to my head, Picard. He's the one. In my formative years growing up, you know, he's someone who I watched every bit of a hero figure with this moral compass and very diplomatic, unlike me, but I learned to be. So, yeah, TNG as a series and then Picard as a captain. But controversially, a character favourite, and I know me and Amy have spoke offline about this before, my favourite character in Star Trek is actually Jadzia Dax from Deep Space Nine. And I think Star Trek is so good at portraying strong women. So, like, female role models for me all came from Star Trek and maybe a little bit of pop music. But Dax is that everything of being really good at your job, a technical expert, but really knows how to, you know, not take life too seriously, has a good laugh. As we can all imagine, she'd be great fun at a party. And yeah, she's, I would say, lived a life, but, you know, she's lived 8 or 9 of them, actually. So, yeah, Jadzia Dax for me, I love her.
I told Terry Farrell to hurry up at a coffee machine once. And she turned around and looked at me, realised I was a Star Trek fan. It was at a convention, I wasn't randomly stalking her to tell her to hurry up. But she turned around and grabbed my arm and like stroked my arm and said, "I love your tattoo." And I was like, what's happening? And then I think I told her that I named my dog after her character. But yeah, it was a bit, it was surreal. It was one of those very hungover convention experiences. So
yeah, Terry was fun. My very first photo op at Destination Star Trek, and obviously we've been through the pandemic since with like the plexiglass and everything, but I just remember she was like, she would throw her arms around you and give you a massive hug, and the photograph, like, she's got a hand on my chest. She's, you know, she just embraces everything.
Well, when she was on the cruise and gave a speech at one of the things, and it was just it was inspiration. It was extraordinary. I think we found Amy curled up in a heap outside after.
I was a mess.
Extraordinary speaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you've sort of mentioned it as, I would say, your first, but it doesn't sound like that you consider that your first cosplay, wearing a t-shirt and black jeans. So tell me, what was your first cosplay and where did you wear it?
So when we went to Destination Star Trek in 2016 and enjoyed it, it was so good, but we realized we really need to up our game for next time. So it was... And
this is based on the fact that the first people we met were Ewan and Joe, who make their own costumes.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get that right. I make our costumes.
Okay.
Mostly, yeah.
So we decided, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Joe, there was Destination Star Trek in 2016 and then in 2017 as well, wasn't it? It was immediately the year after.
I think it was 2 years later. It was 2018.
Was it 2018?
Yeah, then it went annual.
Right, okay. So we had 2 years to sort our act out. So we got some, I think it was just the TNG kind of general tops that you'd wear, and we had those and the Voyager jumpsuits.
Yeah, Voyager jumpsuits.
So yeah, we had TNG season 3 plus and the Voyager jumpsuits for the next destination, and we felt immediately more at home, and you know, we were having photographs taken and we felt more appropriately dressed when we were having our photo ops, and yeah, it just felt really comfortable. And we loved it. So that was the first, but what really kind of got us really into it was throughout the pandemic, really, that there was nowhere to go. There was nowhere to really spend your money apart from everyone's favorite Amazon deliveries knocking on the door. But there was also the one of the more well-known kind of cosplay producers on eBay had just started her shop, and we just hoovered them up. We got one pretty much of everything. So by the time the rules around the pandemic came to relax, we pretty much had all of the uniforms.
Yeah.
And what our whereas people dress up for cosplay for Star Trek for conventions, we actually found ourselves speaking to you guys offline in our kind of Sunday evening Zooms, and that was our excuse to put the cosplay on, just to kind of have our lockdown chats with our friends. And obviously we didn't want to disappoint you. We had two years worth of Sunday evening chat, and we filled our shopping carts accordingly.
And I suppose the other thing that was happening was, it was not just that we were collecting the uniforms that already existed. There was this sudden boom of new Star Trek series, and even within them, that the individual seasons, new uniforms and different variations. So we were kind of expanding our collection based on new stuff that was coming out, as well as filling in the old as well. So at the minute we've moved house last year and have got a whole wardrobe now, which is entirely Star Trek uniforms in chronological order from one side to the other.
Okay, I'm like fangirling out right now. Okay. First of all, I didn't know that you had just started cosplay so recently. Okay,
Yeah.
so my mind is blown because I'm like, man, you've been doing it for years. But then I think, okay, well, 2016, 2018 was a few years ago. But, and I love that you put them in order in your, that's not, okay. So my question is, how many days in a row could you wear a different uniform?
Wow. What we got?
This is very much a math question, Amy.
Yes,
so
it is.
We appreciate that. Thank you. So basically, the equation would be how many series are there, how many variations of uniforms within that series, and then times by 3.
Yeah,
We've got one for each division.
There's the different divisions, so we could.
So we would have original series, Next Generation, Series 1 and 2, and then 3+, Deep Space Nine Voyager, DS9, Season 5+, and then Enterprise, which is just one, fortunately. Discovery Original, Discovery Season 4, Lower Decks, Picard 2380s, Picard 2390s, and have I missed anything?
Did you do the Discovery?
Yeah. So that was 12, 24, 30, 36 days. 36
days. But and also the order that we have them in the wardrobe is the order within the Star Trek universe. So the Enterprise is the first one on the rack, going right the way across to Discovery 32nd Century in that order.
Okay. Lovely. And surprise listeners, this is the point where I am now turning the podcast as to I'm the host and Joe is a guest. Joe, you do a lot of cosplay. And I would like to interview you and ask you the questions as well.
Okay.
So, Joe, what was your first cosplay and where did you wear it first?
Oh, that's a question for you, Ian. I don't remember details like this. First cosplay. Did we wear... Our first convention was Destination in 2016, wasn't it? I'm just talking myself through the answer.
Yes, we're very familiar. You do this with the trivia.
Did we do cosplay? So, I don't know the answer to this. The answer that I want to say.
When we met you, it was the Mirror Universe party in Birmingham.
So I had learned to sew that summer before the convention in whenever it was, September or October, and went with the scants idea.
But that would be the 2018. Because if you're doing Mirror Universe with Discovery came out in 17.
No, I did Mirror TNG, didn't I?
Yeah. From the graphic novels.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it must have been that summer. First thing I ever made was the blue, like medical science scant TNG. Never used a sewing machine in my life, but watched a bunch of YouTube videos, bought some fabric, bought a sewing machine, and found a pattern online and followed it. You follow the instructions and it can't really go wrong. However, you do make a bunch of mistakes and have to rip out all the stitches and some of your hair because it's infuriating. And then the more you practice, the better you get. So the scants are easy because there's less of it to make.
Oh, yeah.
Every successive generation of scant that I made, they got shorter and shorter. So there's more and more thigh on display. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that maybe answers the question.
And Joe, how many days could you wear cosplay in a row?
Oh. Don't know. We've got a couple of cupboards full, so I would literally have to go and count. Ewan's a fan of buying costumes off eBay sellers and places online. I am not. I like to make things. So I literally have no clue. Maybe a week, maybe a year, somewhere in between. No idea.
Joe, can I ask a question? With cosplay, there's a great passion in people making their own outfits. And then in recent years, since the rise of like Etsy and eBay, there's a lot more kind of off the rack. As someone who is quite handy with a needle and thread and a sewing machine, do you kind of look down your nose a little bit at these kind of purchased ones from like China or something, or is it just cosplay is cosplay?
This is purchased. What is it? Kind of the Cage, Captain Pike, velvet.
Oh, it's nice, that
uniform.
One.
Isn't it? It's
very,
really comfy,
very
yeah.
tactile.
It is, I know. As I rub my chest. No, not in the slightest. Cosplay is whatever you want to make it. Do you remember, where was it? Destination Star Trek London last year? And I did the really inappropriate pack-led Starfleet I had 3 different pins. So it was a shop-bought TNG command top with, I think there was a Mirror Universe, now Discovery Mirror Universe pin. There was some other pin. There was 3 pins and there was like 20 pips.
Yes, I remember.
Just because I don't really take cosplay that seriously. So I was kind of mocking it slightly, but I was having fun. And that's what cosplay is about, having fun with it.
Yeah, that leads right into my question. Thank you, Kelvin. Are you gunning for my job here as host? So I want to know, guys, what is your philosophy on like being screen accurate versus having fun? Like, where's that line for you? Kelvin, let's start with you because you're chuckling.
I quite militant with wanting to be accurate. There was one day, a slightly hungover day at one of the destinations where I put my pips on the wrong side. So they were on the same side as the com badge rather than the opposite side. And it was Voyager and we had loads of photographs taken. I can't look at those photographs because the pips are on the wrong side and it kills me. We also have a thing of shiny com badges. We don't like them because they don't look screen accurate. So all our com badges are painted plastic, very matte,
the matte
effect. So that's another. And then I when Joe was just telling that story about all the various pips, I also vividly remember that day where Ewan was wearing the red TNG scant, but with the kind of the Voyager com badge. So it was the wrong com badge for that uniform. And actually, this random guy just walked up to him in the middle of the hall in London and said, "That is the wrong com badge," which was, quite odd for a stranger to do. But secretly, I was thinking that too. So, yeah.
But that's the difference. You're a nice person. Some people just can't help themselves. Like there was a time where a woman walked past me wearing a scant and said, "Yeah, those wouldn't work in the military." And then I was like, okay. And she continued to walk past. I said something, and then she turned around and she was like, oh, are you Joe Keegan? And I was like, yes. And she was like, oh, I listened to your podcast. I'm sorry. I'm ex-military, and went on to explain why she didn't think the scant was suitable attire. Yeah. If you don't want to say something nice, then don't say anything at all, is my mantra.
Yeah, we've had a lot of mention already about the scants, and James and I really have to kind of pay homage to Joe for really putting it out there with the scants, and we've fully jumped on the bandwagon. It's our favourite kind of convention cosplay to do. It's a crowd pleaser, let's face it. You remember, Joe, when we had to walk down the XL from one end from the hotel end to when the convention hall was, and it took us about 40 minutes to get down a relatively few hundred meters just because everybody mobs you if you're wearing a scant and they want to photograph with it.
Particularly if there's a group of you.
It's great to wear as a group.
Although that said, the scants were kind of a novelty and a big hit, and people wanted pictures. On the cruise, we turned up on the cruise in February, March this year with our scants ready to go. Can't wait for everyone to take pictures. Nobody batted an eyelid because it's on everybody's caught on with it now. There were so many scants. It's kind of become a widespread thing. So I'm glad we had our moment of glory when we did.
Now, James, are you, like Kelvin, where you want to be screen accurate, or are you okay?
I'm probably worse than Kelvin in terms of screen. It drives me absolutely wild if things aren't absolutely perfect. So yeah, matte badges is my big thing. They've got to be the right badge. Obviously not on the Discovery uniforms, because they are metallic on screen, so that's screen accurate. So yeah, I mean, pips are the big thing beyond that. Trying to get the pips in the right places, in the right order, is really difficult. And when we first, because the pips we've got are individual pins, so you stick them in one by one. And when we first started going to the conventions and first started doing cosplay in the full uniforms, I used to look around and think, why is everybody just an ensign or a lieutenant? Why does everybody not want to be the captain or a commander? And then probably about a day and a half into our first full cosplay convention, I worked out why. Because after you've had 3 or 4 glasses of wine and maybe a vodka, and you're doing a costume change in your hotel bedroom in a dimly lit bulb by a bedside lamp, trying to get 4 pins through yanking them in through the cloth, getting them lined up, and you think, I've done it, and you stand back and no, it's a zigzag. It's hard work. We make it look like great fun. Cosplay is all hard work and graft. So yeah, I'm very militant about that sort of stuff, and it does, like Kelvin said, if you have a picture taken and it comes out and it's not quite right, deep regret. The big one at the minute beyond the pips is the placing of the lower decks badges, because they go slightly over the white band between the black and the division color, but not all the way over it. And if it's not absolutely right, I just think,
Joe, how are you with being screen accurate and just having fun?
Not in the slightest. It doesn't bother me at all. Like,
yeah,
I roughly,
all the bad practice we're describing is yours. That's why.
Yeah.
Or I think it might actually be. As long as the badge is roughly the difficult thing is put your badge on. And then if you're doing it in the mirror, so you're already wearing, and you try to put the pips on, so you put the pips on where you think they go, like, so you're imagining yourself in the TV show and it's here. But then you look in the mirror and it's the same side as your badge, and you go, oh, it's actually over here. That doesn't feel right. So that's the one thing. Try and get them roughly in the right positions. Other than that, footwear, even less so. Especially at conventions, you wear comfortable sneakers, something that's hugely cushioned that you can move around in. No screen accurate boots.
I would love some of those new Strange New Worlds boots, but they're so expensive.
Ewan's getting a pair, or they're ordered. They're arriving on the 31st of July.
Nice.
Yes.
So can you describe for me the cosplay community? I have seen out there on like social media, there's like Facebook groups for cosplay. People have like invited me. I'm like, I don't cosplay. I'm whatever. I don't know if I want to go that deep into the cosplay. Like, how is the community? I sort of feel like when you buy a motorcycle, like there's this whole underworld of, you have to wave your hand as you pass, and that people easily come up and talk to you about your bike and da-da-da. Like, I sort of feel like it's people see motorcycles on the road, but there is this subgroup that's really tight into motorcycle riding. Like, is that similar in the cosplay world? And how are you involved in that?
Potentially. As we've kind of just said that we've only really been into it the last few years, I kind of still see us on the periphery and the outside of the cosplay community. what we do is we just like the uniforms, you know, and you get people who say, oh, which character are you cosplaying? And I think, well, I'm not, I'm just being myself, but I'm in Starfleet. So I'm, you know, I'm Lieutenant Wood. So there's that. And away from the uniforms, you've also got all like the makeup. So, you know, I don't paint myself blue to be a Bolian or green to be an Orion, you know, and put the pointed Vulcan ears on. I just wear a uniform, and I just like to look my usual beautiful self. Actually saying that, I would love to wear some trill spots one year. Maybe I'll do that at the next convention. So I always see those guys as the hardcore, proper cosplayers. We know our lovely friend Davey in Australia, who does the Orion cosplay. You know, that to me is next level and almost something to aspire to as well. And even on the cruise, you know, what I found mind-blowing about the cruise was you don't actually just see a lot of people just wearing standard Starfleet uniforms. It's always some kind of mashup or very random, like one episode character. Like when Christian was Deanna and Beverly Crusher in the workout outfits, you know, that to me is the really creative cosplay. I'm just someone who clicks a couple of buttons on eBay, adds to cart, and then narcissistically likes to post a nice picture on Instagram to see how many likes I get.
Yeah, I think cosplay is definitely like a spectrum, isn't it? You get people that just turn up in their jeans and their off-the-rack t-shirts, and then you get the guys. Do you remember what STLV was it? The guy won the cosplay competition dressed as Vok from Discovery. But he had it was a full latex
prosthetics
thing. Yeah. It was the whole black kind of leather plasticky outfit thing. I think it was all 3D printed, wasn't it?
And the guy who would go around in the wheelchair as Pike from the menagerie, you know, obviously before Anson Mount days, you know, that's some serious thought, effort, money, creativity. You know, not like what I've done, just throw a bit of money at the problem.
You know, the thing I would say though is that community element, where I'm thinking about where that comes in, and examples of that would probably be examples like on the cruise, where there were themed events and themed nights, and where you get lots of people all not doing the same thing and replicating what each other's doing, but working to a theme and doing something similar. And that's where I think that community element comes in more, and when you get more interaction with other people, because you're all looking at, oh, you've done it like that and we've done it like this, and can we have a picture you know, with you because you've done that kind of thing. That's where the community aspect comes in. So the things I'm thinking of are like the Gorn party, the Gorn toga party, or the Riser night, where everybody interpreted that in different ways. Those sorts of things. I think that's where my experience of a community aspect most stands out.
Joe, are you in any specific cosplay groups or anything? And I mean, I'm sure people, because you were the first to introduce scans into the world of conventions. I mean, it really has taken off, and I really do give you credit now.
I don't know if I can take credit. I learned from the communities.
It's you. No, it's you, listeners. He's being modest. So like, and you make them. And so people come up, do you give them tips and tricks? Like, how is that community feel for you? Yeah.
I use the community purely if I need something, and that's usually advice or how to overcome a problem. I think for cosplay, for me, a good way to put it is low effort, maximum impact, and you want to get that balance. Yeah, you don't want to put in thousands of hours of effort for it to look all right. So I put in little bits of effort and usually get a good result out of it, and that's working for me. There's a few groups on Facebook that I'm in. The names of them escape me, like Star Trek cosplay, costume designers group, that kind of thing. People there are really open and really helpful, and will always point you in the right direction, have good advice. So that's where I like the online groups. Because imagine having to do this back in the 80s where there was no internet and the Star Trek was on maybe once a week, so you had no references. So it's a much better time to do that kind of thing.
Well, and you guys had mentioned like mashup, and like I've seen some of these like punk trek. And do you like doing the mashups? I really feel like, as you mentioned with the cruise, like the theme nights, like now conventions and everything, like there's so many more people in cosplay, like it's expanding. And so, yeah, you're getting people who want to, sort of stand out. And so we'll do a 1 episode, cosplay. Like, so do you guys like to mash up? And
love to. I don't think I am creative enough for that. Even the having something to wear on all of the theme nights on the cruise last year, even that was quite typical. The Mirror Universe night was just Mirror TNG, which is just, the comic, replicate it. Risa was, we did Picard and Vash from Captain's Holiday. Maybe the Gorn night was as creative, but we basically just wore the Gorn's tabard, whatever it is, with all the jewels on it. So I don't know. I don't think I'm creative enough to do a full-on mashup, but my God, when I see someone do it, I just, round of applause. It's great. And I just think, how the hell have you got that through customs?
Yeah, but I know. I think some of the things that you did that's probably where we stepped slightly out, going on the cruise to the theme night, slightly out of just buying stuff and putting it on and making sure it's screen accurate. You were assembling those ideas, coming up with that. There's quite a lot of work went into thinking, we want this outfit, so we need the wrist cuffs to be a Gorn, or we need a knitted swimwear pink overcoat to be Vash. That sort of thing. That element, I think, is quite almost like problem solving, isn't it? You've seen something on screen. How do we recreate that you can't buy straight off the shelf? So I think the theme nights help with that aspect of it, because it just pushes you to have to create something you can't just order.
Right, that's a good point. Yeah.
I don't think I've done any mashups that I can remember. The biggest challenge, though, that I've given myself was before the summer, before one of the STLVs, maybe 2019. 3 scants, 2 each, so 6 scants in total in a period of 4 weeks.
It's still very much a mashup, Joe, because you've taken you've taken the scant pattern and applied it to Discovery. Yeah. And you did it, and you did it before Gersha Phillips did. I did
it. If Gersha Phillips is listening, yeah, you're dead to me. You stole my idea. Cease and desist, Gersha. Yeah, so that was a huge challenge, because you've not only got, I knew how to do the scant's fine, but with Discovery, there's lots of details in the Discovery uniforms, like the deltas down the side. Like, how the hell am I doing that? And also the collar, the split-cowled collar, it's asymmetrical. So I had to learn how to do that. That was easy. The delta pattern was nigh on impossible. It took a lot of effort and a lot of money. I ended up doing it out of digital cutting vinyl that you then iron on. And that was a problem in itself, because you're trying to digitally cut literally tens of thousands of little deltas that are maybe 5 millimeters tall. So the size of that file sent into your machine was caused problems. So there was that. There was the blue disco one in silver, one in gold. I think I did one in the copper. Then there was some white disco medical scants, both in silver. And then there was why? There was some disco mirror universe scants for Vegas, made out of fake leather. With
brilliant.
The armor like that armor thing, and the kind of goldy coppery.
The breastplate type
Yeah,
thing.
breastplate, that's the word. But so I decided to learn how to use Warbler, which is the plastic stuff. When you heat it up with a heat gun, it becomes really moldable and malleable. So you can mold it into whatever shape. Then when it cools, it forms that shape. So I ended up in our living room in our tiny flat at the time with a mannequin, moulding this thermoset in plastic around this mannequin, and then trying to do the little strips to make the armour breastplate detail. But ran out of time, didn't I? So got everything in the suitcases, took some gold spray paint, had to spray paint these breastplates in our hotel room.
Yeah.
Where there's no easy ventilation. There's no windows that you can open. So literally for the rest of the week, our hotel room stunk of spray paint. Those fumes. It was a heady aroma. Yeah.
What about the boots as well, Joe? For that,
the boots. Universe? I don't remember the boots. The boots have
been. I remember seeing them coming.
The boots have been deleted.
Are you talking about the Joe black?
Are you talking about the black PVC stiletto thigh-high hooker boots?
Of course. Yeah.
Above the knee. I mean,
Yep. It was the stilettos were like came down to a pin. Mm-hmm. Nobody could possibly walk in those. There was no footprint. And like being 6 foot tall.
Welcome to women's world.
How do drag queens wear something like that? Or women, for that matter?
Yeah.
It was entirely painful.
Listeners, I want you to remember when Joe said, "I don't care about the footwear." That statement is because of these stiletto boots. I am sure.
You an STLV, that was Rio's convention place, is a walk from the hotel, like maybe a 5-minute brisk walk. 5 minutes, a few minutes. But in heels, it might as well have been 3 million miles. Ewan had to like support me as I tottered along because it was so painful.
It looked like a piece of performance art, not someone in some shoes.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a wise decision.
Oh, so I'm just thinking, what was the thing we did on the cruise where there was feathers everywhere?
Oh, it was the 1920s roaring holodeck.
Yeah.
And it was all flappers and pinstripe suits and machine guns. I, controversially at the moment, don't like guns. It's not for me. So I didn't want to wear a suit and a Tommy gun. So I thought, let's just wear a scant, but let's put pearls and headdresses and feather boas. And the feather boas got everywhere.
That's what when Joe was talking about the spray painting the hotel room, that's what I was thinking of. The cabin, our cabin on the cruise was just black feathers for the rest of the week everywhere. Open a cupboard we never even opened before, feathers. Like tribbles falling out on top of us.
Did you buy the cheap chicken feather boas?
Absolutely. Spared no expense. They were about £5 on Amazon.
We didn't take them back home.
No. They're still in that cruise ship room, aren't they?
So you've mentioned that you found like on eBay or Amazon. So is there a place that you recommend? Joe, you make them? Do you buy them at conventions? Like, where do you get your cosplay? And
Well, if we're allowed to kind of plug people on the show, so there's a seller on eBay that I think the brand is called like Cosmart, but the actual seller ID is I can't say the word. But
say it, Kelvin. Say it.
It's oxygen or something, but it's BES XIOJIN on eBay, and she literally, as soon as there's a new uniform on like Prodigy or something, she will put a picture. How many people want this? And everyone just like me, and she will make them. I mean, she probably doesn't know what she's got herself into, because she started at around like season 2 of Discovery with the Disco Prize costumes, and then since that with Picard, she's got so many and there's so many people still going on saying, oh, when are you going to do the Monster Maroons? It's like, my God, leave her alone. She's doing such a great job. So there's that. But I know they had a terrible reputation in terms of like delivery and stuff, but the Anovos costumes were such high quality. I mean, really get what you pay for. Though they were so expensive. So
get what you pay for, really?
Well,
in the same sentence as Anovos.
Maybe if you don't get it. So we bought our Anovos scants
at the convention
at STLV.
So we got them in our hands. We handed the money over.
So we're not one of them, unfortunate people who have to wait.
I think we got it the same year then, because I bought it at the convention at there, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you did. You bought the blue. We bought the gold and red.
Yeah.
So between us, we have a full set of TNG scans.
We do. And it is excellent quality. I love wearing it. Yeah.
I don't feel sad for that woman on eBay. She's just the whip cracker, I assume. She's got warehouses full of 5-year-olds at sewing machines with no fingers.
We do have a kind of lingering thought at the back of our minds saying, you know, is this just some kind of sweatshop that she's running and it's very unethical? You know, it's going to be some big news story in a few years' time that hundreds of moral Star Trek fans who look to a brighter future have kind of supported, in essence, slave labor. But we look great.
Yes.
Amy, what is your most favourite cosplay purchase of recent times?
I would say the Annabelle Scant. Most of my cosplay has been given to me, so...
As tribute?
Yeah.
What about your jacket you bought in Chicago?
Oh, yeah, that one was beautiful. It's just a jacket, though. It's the Discovery.
Star Trek jacket. It's cosplay.
Oh, man. I love wearing that thing. It makes me look so good. I love it. You'll see it, because I will definitely be bringing it to cold Scotland.
What's a piece of cosplay that kind of isn't out there available to buy, but you just really want to get your hands on it?
Ewan has been pestering me since we started to go into conventions for the Riker Angel 1 outfit.
Oh, yes.
And I've got a bunch of fabric. I kind of have an idea in my mind about how to do it. It's just because there's bits that you have to get them right. You don't want that kind of thing lopsided. Yeah.
And is this for... He's pestering for you to make it for...
Yes.
Because
I'm going to make it.
In it? Or he
wants it for himself.
Of course.
And I just want an Edo outfit to run about in.
The white fabric?
From Justice.
Just the white fabric.
Well, that's pretty
a small square.
There's not really
You've seen them at STLV, right? Where they run around. You can join them. There's a whole group of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are literally the Edo, and they run around the convention. STLV. Have you not seen them?
No,
I've seen them.
Oh my gosh, it's brilliant! It's brilliant. I love it. It's so funny, and they literally are running everywhere. It's cute.
I would do that. Sounds like a good way to get around the convention.
Yes. So now, this is definitely a stage in cosplay where you are planning which type to wear on which days. Really, the first time that I did that was in Chicago with you, Joe, and Ewan. It's like, okay, what day are we going to wear this? What day are we going to wear that? Like that. And to your point, when you see a large group, everyone in the same uniform style, it is very impressive.
Yeah, and also as well now, because we have so many, you have multiple different ones during the day. So you decide, what are we going to wear in the morning, in the afternoon, then for the evening party? So when we go on holiday to a convention, we'll have 2 suitcases And one of them will just be entirely cosplay, and then the other is just civilian clothing.
That's how you pack them, and then you swap half and half. So if one suitcase gets lost, you've at least got some civilian and some cosplay garments. You see, that's Starfleet thinking.
Yeah, but that kind of coordinating with everyone, I remember on the cruise this year, us and Christos did a lot of that to make sure we all wore the same things. And the guys from Gaze in Space as well, and they all everyone was Boimler from Lower Decks. That was such good impact. They did a great job on that. But yeah, moving forward, there's a lot for us to kind of have a chat about for the next time we do this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That kind of thing, multiple costumes throughout the day, it was really easy at STLV when it was at the Rio, and Destination Star Trek when it was in Birmingham, because the hotel and the convention space were literally the same, or effectively the same place. But with the London convention at where was it? The Excel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bit more tricky because your hotel was always going to be a bit further away from the convention space. And then Chicago, yeah, we were miles away. We had to Uber or get the train from our Airbnb into the convention space because hotels were ridiculously expensive.
But what we've done before, though, is because the way we sometimes arrange what we're going to wear on what days to do with what photographs you're having. So which stars are on and when, and you want to be in the right costume to be with them. And I do remember one, it might have been Birmingham, where there was a very quick turnaround between Discovery and
George Takei,
and then Geordie LaForge, LeVar Burton. There was a really quick turnaround, and we just took the costumes with us in a bag, quickly nipped into the toilets, switched it over and ran back out again. So even in Birmingham, where you could go back to the hotel, we were still having to do that quick change.
I think I layered. Actually.
Yeah.
I had the Disco Prize Pike outfit on for my kind of captain's chair VFX picture, and then took the gold top off and had the TOS red shirt underneath for my picture with George Takei. Oh my God, I was boiling.
So there's a lot of logistics involved. It's what's the rest of the group wearing, what photographs you're having, which stars. It's hard work, cosplay.
Yeah.
I remember making you in it was a Deep Space Nine or a TNG jumpsuit. It was a jumpsuit from one of the shows, but it zipped up the back, and he went to the bathroom at STLV, and he phoned me like 5 minutes later saying, "I can't pee in this. You have to come in and unzip me." I was like, "Oh, okay." So all these wee things you do cosplay for the first time, you sew something together, but it's not really that functional.
I'm wearing the blue TNG, and this was my first cosplay, inspired by seeing everyone at STLV. And yeah, I realized that. I was like, oh, I can't go to the bathroom. I couldn't, this zipper, I couldn't get it to work. But thankfully you're in a family, and I just sort of stepped outside. Can you unzip me? Can you zip me up? And everyone's willing to help. And again, sort of that community. So, and then also with this uniform being my first time, I did something similar, Kelvin, to you. I didn't know which side the pips went, and I was walking around, and then someone pulled me aside. Your pips are on the wrong side. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. I mean, I was so embarrassed, but I'm like, it's my first time, So any other fun mishaps or embarrassments that you've had from cosplay?
I don't think embarrassment. There's a funny story I love to tell, that in the Hilton Hotel in Birmingham, which was the kind of the official hotel for Destination Star Trek when it wasn't in London, you forget that even though most people in the hotel are there for the convention, there are people there who are not. And I remember I was wearing the Captain Pike Discovery Season 2 outfit, and I got into the lift, and there was just this random couple in there, and she was going, "Oh my God, you guys look so great. You look so sweet. Look at you. Oh, that's amazing." She didn't realize that actually in the lift with us at the same time was Anson Mount, the most relevant person in Star Trek at the time and at the moment with his now wife, who was just kind of stood there in his normal civilian clothing, so just didn't look like anyone to do with Star Trek. And this woman was going crazy about us. And I was thinking, I'm in the lift with Anson Mount.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Oh my gosh.
I wonder what Anson was thinking about.
I know, right?
He's like, I can't even get to my hotel room. They won't leave me alone.
No, he was probably thinking, oh, someone else is getting the attention and not me.
Which I think for conventions, that's the way it should be.
We were on the cruise this year as well, and they had the museum with the Discovery Season 4 outfits and the premiere of the Strange New Worlds uniforms as well that we'd not seen before. And walking around the room at the same time as us, inspecting them and taking a million photographs to get them replicated was Anthony Rapp. So we just ended up having a very casual conversation saying, are they comfortable? What's it like to wear them for so long? And do they get washed very often? Are they filthy? So just to have that kind of insider conversation with someone who was wearing basically what was on the mannequin in front of us, that was pretty cool.
And his conclusion was that the Season 4 Discovery uniforms are much more comfortable than the Season 1 to 3. Which, as people who wear both of them, we would agree with very heartily.
You have to be sewn into those.
Yeah, the early Discovery ones are very, very unforgiving.
That's why I make a scant. It's like a giant T-shirt. Make it slightly too small also, so it looks and out a stretchy fabric, so it looks made to measure.
What is your advice to someone who's starting out or who is contemplating, should I take the next step?
Do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who message us on kind of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram who are like, oh, I think I'm going to do that. And that is the advice. Just do it. Because you are just so embraced. And it's a little, it's a little bit like drag in a way of you can kind of be someone else, and you know the attention that you get, which is always universally so positive. It is such a good feeling to feel like that. So yeah, just go for it. And like we just said about the affordable uniforms from eBay, you don't have to spend a fortune. You can spend like £25, $25 on an outfit, and they look so screen accurate these days. They're so good. They're not really Halloween costume, they're actually full-on cosplay. So just try one. If you want to go safe with just like a little TNG whatever, go for it. Or if you want to go out there and go full on and wear a scant and get mobbed, go for that too, and just never look back.
James, what's your advice?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Just do it. It's got that double effect, I think, really, of when you've got the uniform on, you fit in with everybody else. You look the same at the conventions. You look the same at the group events. So it is part of that. It almost gets you over a barrier in a sense. It's a good way of getting involved and getting to know people, being part of the pack. But it's also almost like a little bit like a suit of armor, like Kelvin says. You are portraying a character. So there's something very freeing about that. That you're inhabiting a different world, a different person. There's a liberation to it as well. So yeah, I'd say just go for it. And again, like Kelvin said, you don't have to spend a fortune. Doesn't have to be the most fantastic thing. Start off with one uniform, one badge, build up from there, see how it goes. But yeah, do it. I think it's the best thing we've done at the conventions is just go for it. Yeah. And the pictures look fantastic. The pictures look fantastic as well. We have this archive now of years of pictures of us looking very smart indeed.
Mm-hmm. John, what's your advice?
Oh, there's so much advice. If you're buying off the rack, you're buying off eBay or Amazon or whatever, then buy a bunch of stuff if you can afford it. In different sizes. A lot of times you're buying stuff from other countries and they might have different sizing charts. So watch out for sleeves being too short or too long. Watch out for things being like too tight or like bunching up or darts in the wrong place. with anything, it's always best to buy it slightly too big, because you can always take it in place, like put darts in it to bring it in and kind of cinch it to your shape. If you buy it too small and you force it on, it's going to look a bit silly. So don't do that. Even if the sleeves are too short, I usually just roll up my sleeves anyway, and it looks a bit more like a utility top. I like having my sleeve very Miles O'Brien. In terms of sewing, do you know, I think the one thing I've learned about myself over the last maybe decade is my growth mindset knows no bounds. I wouldn't be me if I wasn't trying new stuff. I would hate to have to pay somebody to do something that I thought I could do myself. Like whether it's I'm building this kind of terraced vegetable garden out the back today. So I've been Joseph the Carpenter, which Amy mentioned at the beginning of the episode, or like even plumbing. Our toilet sprung a leak just after we moved in, and I was like, I'm not paying a plumber like £50 just to come out and have a look, and then whatever, like £50 an hour. So I'm going to fix it myself. It's just water and pipes. It can't be difficult. And I fixed it because YouTube's a great resource and teaches you how to do everything. So, but we're talking about sewing. Start small, watch YouTube videos, ask for advice on all the groups. If you've got a sewing machine already, that's going to be your biggest expense. Fabric can be relatively cheap. Buy as good quality of fabric as you can that is stretchy, and make everything slightly too small so that it's going to stretch to fit your shape if you're comfortable wearing something like that.
My advice, well, how I got into it was, I sort of was like, what's my favorite series? TNG. So I got this TNG one. But what really pushed me over was I wanted to be Deanna Troi, because everyone knows I love Troy. And so the next year, so I got the TNG, just, from China, whatever. And I wore that my first year, that would have been 17. And then in 18, I got the blue Deanna Troi dress that a student made me. So handmade. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to buy the blue tights, and I got the blue heels, and I even did this wig thing to try and get the curls. I did my best Deanna Troi. I looked terrible, and I was like, why did I do this? It was so disheartening because I had this picture in my head. But people still stopped me and was like, can I take your picture? And I'm like, are you crazy? I don't even look good. But you're right. It doesn't matter. But I think what pushed me over was just finding the one character and then going that. So in my mind, it was a total disaster. And now I'm more along the lines of what you guys are, Kelvin, James, where I just want to wear a uniform. I just want to be in Starfleet. I'm going to be me. I'm Miss Nelson. So I've sort of gone to that philosophy of it. But I think for me, I needed to have a character who I wanted to be to push me over the edge to go into the deep end.
I was going to say that's just a fantastic way in. But one thing I wanted to ask was, do you ever just put the uniform on around the house just as part of a normal day to give yourself a boost or make yourself feel better? Or is it reserved for, I'm doing an event, I'm doing an activity?
Cosplay, definitely event. But what I am doing, and I would put it under the cosplay umbrella, my comm badges, the jewelry, I will wear a comm badge anywhere, any place, anytime. I wear it all the time, Trek, #Trek Tuesday, there's my comm badge on at school. And I really enjoy seeing that. And then you see the little, a Trekkie out in the wild, and it's like, oh yeah. And it's like, I want to be that person that people see me out in the wild. And that Discovery jacket I bought in Chicago, I'm like, You guys, I was at the California Wine Festival with Christos last weekend for my birthday. And there was some guy in the TNG jacket, the same brand as mine. So I was like, oh my gosh, totally was talking. Amazing, awesome friend now that I have. We've exchanged numbers. I'm convincing him to come to STLV, but it's like, yeah, just out in the wild. It's cool. So I am brave enough to do that, but I won't wear that. The most times that I did was at our Zoom calls on the Sundays.
Yeah. We do exactly the same thing. That we're going to a lot of weddings at the minute. It's all the weddings that were postponed from 2020 and 2021 are all happening now. And we'll do the same. We'll just wear a normal suit and shirt, but with a com badge on or a pip on or something like that, just to have just to bring an element of it into ordinary, everyday civilian life. And last weekend, actually, it wasn't a wedding; it was a stag weekend. We were in a small village out in Yorkshire, and we'd been doing all the setup and everything, sitting on a bench outside a pub, and two complete strangers walked past and just shouted at me, "Live long and prosper." And I was kind of thinking, what? How do they know? What do they think? And I'd forgotten I was wearing a baseball cap, the yellow original series one with the insignia on. So I'd even got it. I'd put it on then without even realizing. So it was an element of cosplay that's just part of everyday life. But that's a great way in for anybody that's anxious about doing the full uniform or not confident about getting going. Is a badge or a hat or, like you say, a jacket, something like that, just as part of everyday life, is a great way into it. We did badges, didn't we, before we did?
Yeah, throw a Delta on here and there, and there's so many like T-shirts and stuff, and it's still cosplay. It's still kind of showing your support for the franchise.
I don't. Do you know what? I should, but I don't. Wear it. Like I have to be told to put on a uniform, but don't wear it anywhere else. But I like the badges idea. Although I do sometimes.
Wear it at school?
No, never. But I will start, I think. The Discovery Section 31 Delta, now the black and silver one, on my kilt, which is black and grey. Looks quite good.
And that's quite subtle, isn't it? Because it's not kind of standout gold. Some of them can blend in as part of costume jewelry almost, rather than specific Star Trek stuff. So yeah, some can be quite subtle.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for coming on and informing our listeners and me and sharing your story about cosplay, because I find so fascinating. I absolutely love it. So why don't you tell our listeners where they can contact you to talk more about cosplay, and they're out there on the social media. Kelvin?
Oh, lovely. Thank you. People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kelvin's Timeline. See what I did there? Come and click add, and I'd love to have a chat with you.
Yeah, and I'm on Twitter, James_B_Draper, or on Instagram, JBD1TQ.
What is that?
I'm not going to tell you live on air.
Okay.
Even I don't know what that is.
Exactly.
It sounds like there's a story.
I'm not going to tell you live off air.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on Galaxy Class. Seriously, you guys, loved having you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. It's been long overdue.
We'll see each other in person before too long.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, couple months.
Incoming transmission.
Well, listeners, we love to hear your thoughts on today's show and hope you'll join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. There's some pretty fun conversations and discussions going on. Ooh, we're also doing our little Apple Watch challenges on there. So go check us out. You can follow the show on Twitter at Galaxy Class Pod, or we have the network on Instagram now at BQN Podcasts.
Please hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a star rating and written review. That helps others to find the show. So Amy, where can people find you when you're not just wearing a uniform top and you're naked from the waist down?
On all of our Zoom calls?
That's all of us, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I'm not doing that, you can find me here on the network where I'm co-hosting All Good Things, which is a general Star Trek podcast with my good friend Mark White. I'm also on Union Federation, which is now dropping on BQN. And that covers the new Star Trek and the Orville, which is starting very soon.
When?
June 3rd.
June 3rd, same day as The Boys. That's exciting. With Jack Quaid.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Cool.
I am on Twitter at Miss Amy Nelson, and of course in our Facebook group. And Joe, where can people find you when you are sewing scants for anyone and everyone who asks?
That would be nobody.
That would be listeners. If you want a scant, go ahead and reach out to Joe.
There are $5 bajillion $1,000,000. When I'm not doing that, you can tweet me on the Twitter at JoeyJoe77UK, which is also the name of my handle on Instagram, I've discovered, where I post my bakes and cakes and things like that. You can find me on Facebook on the BQN Collective. Is that what it's called? Not used to this now. Or you can email me, joepodcast@gmail.com.
Still going with the email, huh?
Ah, yeah, somebody will email me one day. Maybe Kevin or James will email me this evening.
I don't know.
The problem
Do they
is
listen to the show?
I probably not. I wouldn't. I don't. The problem is if you email me, I don't reply. I'm really lazy.
So then why would they email you?
I know. I've set up, it's a vicious circle. I say email me, some people email me and I never reply, so yeah.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
If you'd like to help us keep all our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. We're putting out more exclusive content for our patrons like It's Green or Amy's Math Moments. You definitely don't want to miss that. With a monthly Patreon subscription of $5 or more, you can join our meetings of the Hive Mind, and that will be happening every second Saturday of each month. Watch your Patreon messages for details. If you feel so inclined, please check out the details on patreon.com/BQN. And a huge shout out to our very own associate producer, Jim McMahon. You might have heard him, Trivia with Jim, and we're so grateful for your support.
Is that, Amy, is that monthly on the second Saturday or
Yes.
every second Saturday, which sounds like it's fortnightly?
Yeah, no, it's the second Saturday of every month.
Okay.
Sorry, I will rephrase that.
Okay, cool. At this time, we would like to give props to those instrumental for launching BQN. They are Mark White, Amy Nelson, Tony Robinson and Ken Tripp. Thank you to Zach Tripp for our show music and Tony Robinson for our weekly artwork. Your talents are appreciated.
Thank you for beaming aboard the Galaxy class. And until next time,
To cosplay is to live.
great joy and gratitude.
Engage.
Yeah, those TNG season 1, season 2 jumpsuits are quite controversial on some men. There's quite a little bit of moose knuckle going on, but something to keep your eye on.
Are we allowed to say moose knuckle on the show?
You can edit me, I'm sure.
It's fine. We're keeping it in.
Previously on BQN. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast.
Now that is a big old plot hole.
I mean,
You're not wrong.
Okay.
They could have put like a detonator on it. They just, like 15-minute timer.
Time delay? Okay.
100%. But then we wouldn't have had the Lost in Space premise, and Voyager just would have been flying around, the Alpha Quadrant the whole time.
Mickey's Marvels, a Disney podcast.
Oh, man. Oof. This is why our 20-second clips are just going to be us laughing. I told Tony this. We are not going to be discussion. It's going to be one point where we laugh, and that's it. It's going to be 20 seconds of laugh. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Galaxy Class, a Star Trek The Next Generation podcast.
Can I just say, because it's been a while since I had watched a TNG, and especially just after watching Picard, how young Patrick Stewart looks.
I know, isn't it crazy?
Yeah. That's crazy. With Legacy, though, we open up with a return to Tasha Yar's home planet.
You will find these and more of your favorite podcasts on BQN.